Yes, of
Get it closer, Tommy. Closer. Closer. Closer.
Can you put this together again?
Humpty Dumpty could not be put back together again, Grayson. You know this, man.
You know that your penis stinks. That you have a stinky.
Can you put this back together?
No penis has ever seen.
If anyone thinks that our president is the cause of all our problems in this country, you might be high on crack. You may want to check yourself into some kind of rehab center or something like that. It drives me crazy that, like, whoever's in office, the opposite political party blames that individual on all the problems of the country. It's mind-numbingly stupid, people. Stop being assholes. Both sides. All of you. Knock it off. We need to get together on some... Yeah, I added a light. It looks prettier. Yeah, I'm on my second drink. And you know what? I'm coming straight out of Compton. Christ on a stick. Hello?
So tomorrow after school, I was wondering, so I got assigned this research project today in my English class, and we have to tackle the school policy that we disagree with, but that's like a part of the project is you have to go interview like teachers that you've had before on their kind of viewpoint on the policy. Tomorrow I was thinking I would interview like the Carters, and I set up appointment with the superintendent, so that's not till like next week. But tomorrow could you drive me to Dunbar and then like get me from school and drop me off at Dunbar till like 3:30 so I can do like a few interviews with people?
Do you have a ride home?
Probably not.
Then no.
I know that. Then when you get stuff from downtown, why don't you just wait and do your grocery shopping while I'm out? Can we do it like Thursday maybe? I just have to do it like relatively soon because I need to have my info in by like next Monday.
Why don't you just interview teachers at your own school?
Because it has to be like former teachers, Reed said that'd be easier. And then I also set one up with the superintendent, so like that'll help. But I also want to get opinions from former teachers because Reed said that would help the strength of the paper.
Thursday would work.
Okay.
It's science.
I feel like I'd be done with my interviews probably within like 20 to 40-ish minutes. Like, I mean, I can stay longer if you can't get me till later, but like I just know tomorrow's like the one day I don't have rehearsal this week, like right after school.
Straight out of Compton. Bitches. The Walking Dead last night. Let's talk about it briefly. I've got a lot. We're going to be here a while tonight, so we might have to either break it down or you might want to take a little intermission somewhere in the middle. All kinds of fun stuff to talk about tonight on the road to 40. I brought these lights in. I was originally going to come in here, sit down, and play a song. I played a song earlier, and I'll probably just slap it on there. I screwed up at the end of the song. It's Sullivan Street by Counting Crows. Actually, you know what? Let's start this off. Let's hear. Take a look at this. Look at my boys behind me. That's one of my favorite Counting Crows and one of my favorite songs ever. I love that song, and it's deeply touched me at certain points in my life. And so it's hung around, and you have songs like that, I'm sure, your favorite songs or songs that were playing on the radio. Paradise City is a perfect example. I remember the very first time I saw the video for that. It was the premiere. It was like midnight. I was on the phone with my friend Kelly Johnson Smith. She lived, a few blocks over, and we both loved Guns N' Roses. So whenever the premieres of their videos would come out, we'd either hang out or would be on the phone and talking about it, like, oh my God, did you see that? He had a white leather jacket on. It was awesome. So I don't know what my point is about that. The road to 40 is coming to a close soon, my friends. The party's creeping up. I'm going to have to throw some reminders out there to people, because there's a bunch of people in Massachusetts who said, well, we'll see if we can get down there. Well, let's turn that into, we'll be there, motherfucker. And we will sleep wherever we have to sleep that night, just like it was 1999. I don't know. I told you guys I was working on some concept art for the Oculus Rift. There's a piece of software that, somebody I know, Dan, a friend of my friend Mike's, no, a friend of Mike's, my friend Mike's friend Dan, who I haven't gotten to hang out with, talk to, or anything like that. He's developing this software for autistic children. I believe he has an autistic son, and so he's developing the software, and he wants really simplistic. So I sent him, some real world stuff. I sent him some animals, some cartoony stuff, and I sent him a robot. Now, the robot was my least favorite of all the things I sent to him. That's the thing that him and his team gravitated to the most. They all loved the art, specifically the robot. So, the other day I did these. If I scan these in, then you'll just see a little cut here. But this is pretty easy to see, so I'm hoping you can see these. Alright, now, let's go through these. A was my first idea. I looked up cute robots, and I saw a few things that I saw. So I drew him. He started the trend for the other robots. B and C are my absolute favorites. I like how cute they are. I think that they would appeal to children. And B, for example, if you notice here, his antenna, one of them is bent. And I thought that served a purpose in stating that we're not perfect. We're not perfect people. But he looks a little bit like from South Park. Not BMO. What the hell is it called? Anywho, you can look it up. Cartman dresses up in the box and pretends he's a robot. Now, C, I like C a lot too, but the face is a little too cute, and it reminds me of something, and I can't remember what it is. If you guys think of what it is, post it in the comments below. He liked D. The one that I liked not the least on this page. I liked this guy just because he was kind of reminding me of robots, though. And of course the dog. I can't get my lefts and rights straight on camera. That's something I got to work on. Straight Outta Compton. I am so excited about this movie. Now, you guys look at me, you go, hi, white man from New England. And you think, you like Counting Crows. I know this. You like Bon Jovi, Guns N' Roses. I don't know how much. I know you guys know that I love Ice Cube. I love Ice Cube. I love his music. His acting is okay. But his music, I love Ice Cube. All the way back to his solo album. NWA, I was a fan of. I liked their stuff. But Ice Cube really stood out to me. So, when I saw the trailer today for this, I freaked out. Like, I literally freaked out. I started a fire. No, I didn't start a fire. I killed a village full of people. No, I didn't kill a village full of people. But it's that good. I really like it a lot. So I'm excited to see that movie, and I'm just excited to see how well it does, to be completely honest. I get really invested in movies. When I watched Braveheart 32 times in the theater, 31 times in the theater, I knew in my heart of hearts that I wanted it to win Best Director, Best Film. I didn't care about all the other awards, which it did win a few other ones. But I wanted Mel Gibson, who now I'm not a big fan of, and the movie to win those two awards. And they did that year. And I don't know what it is. Like Beck winning last night. That CD, Morning Glory? Morning? I can't remember what the name of it is, to be completely honest. Morning Glory. Yeah. That's a phenomenal CD. If you haven't heard it, you should listen to it. It's so good. The songs are so good. The writing is so good. Just everything about those CDs. You should listen to that CD. CD. It's very good. Kanye West, he needs to cut the shit out. I'm really, it was funny once, interrupting Taylor Swift. Ha ha ha, very funny motherfucker. But knock it off. Come on, man. That's disrespectful. Beck is one of the most talented and prolific writers of our time. He is an amazing musician and amazing songwriter. And it's so disrespectful of him. He just needs to cut the shit out. He's a little kid and needs to fuck off. And I'm going to slap him if I ever see him. You got a problem with that, Kanye? Bring it, bitch. Bring it. I have no problem. One-on-one, mano-y-mano, you and I, a slap-off contest. Right now. Go. Where are you? Oh, I win. Default. Why am I here tonight? Why are we all here tonight? Well, mainly I am here because I want to talk to you about battle scars. I want to talk to you about war wounds. I want to talk to you about the scars I have on my body. Now, I'm going to show you something. No, I'm not going to show you anything because I'm a fat fuck. It's disgusting. I have, and we've talked about a lot of these, many scars on my body. I haven't been tortured and beaten or anything like that. But if you look, let's see. Well, let's start this out. Let's see what we got first here. I call this one Van Jump. Back in about 89, 90, 91, 92, right around those 3 or 4 year period, I was heavily involved in my church and youth group and being a part of that. Yeah, I was. And there was one night, we used to, every Thursday night after youth group, several of us would go to Friendly's and we get ice cream or food or whatever and just hang out and be assholes to the people and just... So that night, I remember eating like 30 sugar packets. It was crazy. It was stupid. You're a kid. You do things like that when you're a kid. Later on, I'd go to Bickford's and do the same thing. I guess I never learned my lesson. Anywho, we were all hanging out one night. Jeff Terra had borrowed Bob Johnson's red van. Now, he's a landscape artist, so that has nothing to do with anything. But it had one of those side sliding doors, cargo van. We were all heading back. Now, from the Friendlies we went to on Route 44 on Winthrop Street in Taunton, Massachusetts, to my house, it's only it would have been about a 7-minute drive. We were approaching the gas station near my house, probably a quarter of a mile, not even a quarter mile, half a mile, an eighth of a mile from my house. He started to slow down. Now, we're on the opposite side. My house is here. He's on this side of the road. I said... you don't have to stop. I'll just jump. So I open the door. I'm looking down at the street, and it's going by pretty fast. But, I'm trying to impress my friends and some girly girls in the car or something. and I'm thinking, wow, I've really committed to this. Fuck. In the meantime, I hear, over here somewhere, go. What he actually said was no. I know that this is not as funny if you've heard this before, but that's the way it worked out. So go meant, here we go. And so I literally jumped up in the air. I'm about 4 feet above the ground at this point. The van's still going. Obviously, the door's open. People are looking out. I hit the ground, and I thought, oh, I'll be fine. When I hit the ground, now, if you are a moving if you're a steady object, and you've just been traveling 30 or 40 miles an hour. Actually, no, let's set the record straight here. It was probably about 15 to 20 miles an hour. But I don't care. You can't run 15 to 20 miles an hour. So your feet can't catch up to that kind of speed. So what happens is you're up, you're down, and boom! You're face first into the ground. I was lucky enough to get my hands up. Now, you guys probably won't be able to see this. I don't know. I'm looking at the picture. Right here is one of the scars. But all these knuckles have 2 or 3 scars on them, and the inside, I don't know how it happened. I must have put my hands down and it scraped, and it hurt so bad I must have turned my hand, this hand, and all my knuckles in between just tore up. My jeans tore up, my knees tore up. Not too bad on my knees, though. I remember walking into the house and being like, hi. And my mother being like, are you okay? I'm like, no. I didn't go to the hospital because I'm a stubborn son of a bitch. I probably could have gotten something done to my knuckles to clean them up a little bit. But you know what? That scar has one of the best stories to go with it. So I'm glad I never got it, healed or stitched or whatever. Moving right along. What do we got next? Oh, the eyebrow swing. This is a great story, too. I've told you this before. I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. I can't remember the name of the school, but it was in Mendon, Massachusetts. Whatever their elementary school is closest to Elm Street. If you go on Google Maps, you can find it. I could find it, but I'm lazy. I know, it's a poor excuse. I've used it quite a few times. It was right before school. I had put my bag down. You know how a swing set has the A frame and the bar that goes across and the swing. Well, my bag, for whatever reason, had fallen right into the path of the swing. You know where this is going. The swing went up, and I thought I'd have enough time as it was ascending to reach down and grab my bag and get out in time. Boy, was I wrong. Now, I'd have to feel it. I think it's right here. I doubt you can see it. I'll try to post maybe a picture or something like that. But I took a swing with probably like a 50-pound kid right to the eyebrow. Full force. Just boom. I saw stars. I went back on my back. I went into the school. Can I tell you what happened next? No, because I don't remember. But I remember that being pretty bad. I didn't have to get stitches for it, which was nice. However, my father was the Baptist minister at the church in Mendon at the time. And when I went to church that Sunday, people asked me, oh, goodness, what happened to you? I said, well, my parents beat me. Yeah, I was that kind of kid. Obviously, DSS was called, and the whole situation smoothed itself out. But to this day, I don't think I've ever been hit that hard. That van meant nothing compared to that swing to the head. All right. I'm going to try to go a little bit faster on these because we're already at 17 minutes. Not like, I don't think you guys care. You guys don't care, do you? Okay. Oh, the heat sealer. Which hand is it? Let me just find it first. Huh. Can't seem to find it. It's a noticeable scar. Where the hell did it go? Okay, so I would have been doing this, so it would have been this hand. Okay, there. I think you can see it. Okay, this finger, there's a line. I don't think I can show it. It's right here. You really can't see it, so I'm not going to waste your time. I worked at a place called Pride. The next story is actually about this one, too. We did industrial packaging, and for a long time, I managed the warehouse. I assisted manage the warehouse, except the manager was on crack constantly. I'm not lying about that. I'd pick him up in the morning, high on crack, him and his wife. Drop him off in the evening, high on crack. Love the crack. If that's your thing, I guess. Anywho, one of the machines they had before I started working as more of a supervisor or a managerial position was industrial heat sealer. Now, this machine had a two-step process. One was you put the product inside a clear acrylic wrap. You drop this thing, which would cut it, heat seal it closed, and then you would turn it, do the same thing, and then put it through this industrial oven type deal. We're talking Nazi Germany here. That was incredibly racist, and I apologize. I'll either cut that or I really mean it. I didn't mean that. You'd run it through the oven. It would come out tightly sealed on the other side. At my work right now, Givens Books in Little Dickens in Lynchburg, Virginia, 2236 Lakeside Drive. GivensBooks.com. Primary designer. We also have one on a small scale, but this one's industrial. This is huge. It has to pump out shit constantly. Boom, boom, boom. You're heat sealing shit left and right. Stuff that's going into stores. I don't know how it happened, why it happened, but accidents happen. Well, I had my hand over. There's a little, like, a strip of plastic that actually the heat sealer, it doesn't melt the plastic, but it melts the acrylic sealing bags. And then you run it through the machine. Sorry, Dr. Carl. I forgot about you, too. So my hand was on that bar, and I shut it. And this is, you're talking about I don't know, maybe a 1/16 of an inch wire, maybe 1/8 of an inch wire, came down across this finger this way and burnt it. Just burnt the shit out of it. I cauterized it immediately. Like, I ran it underwater and there's no blood or anything like that. It burnt it shut. Like, it was like immediate scar. If you ever wanted like scars specific areas, you could just stick your arm and they'd be like, and you'd be good because it wouldn't, get infected. It would seal up. Anywho, my second injury at Pride, and I didn't get hurt really at all, more my pride and my mind. It was terrifying. We had electric pallet jacks, which means you could ride on the pallet jack. If you've ever dealt with pallet jacks in a factory type operation, you usually have to pump them, and to drop them there's a little hydraulic that, lets all the air out, or whatever it is. Hydraulics out. Fluid out. Whatever. Well, the electric ones are awesome because you can ride around like a crazy motherfucker. And I did. For 3 years, I used to ride around on those things and just have fun. They were awesome. Smashing into each other, smashing into pallets. I will say this about Pride. It was the worst, well, not the worst, second to worst job I ever had. And probably one of the best jobs in other regards. Well, I'll tell you about that. Actually, there's an episode if you go back, and it's probably like episode 19 or something about Pride. So these things, you're supposed to plug them in, though, and charge them. And this one was operating fine for me. And at this point in our history, we were heat sealing cans of tuna, I believe it was, or cans. It doesn't matter what it was. So this pallet was filled with like 2,500 pounds of cans, metal cans, unforgiving cans. And we had a ramp that was, I want to say it's at least a 30-degree ramp. It was crazy. So you had to back up about 15 feet, get your power going, and make sure, for God's sake, that you're going straight. Don't you dare turn. If you turn, you're fucked. You're fucked. Left to right, up and down. So I get to the bottom of the ramp. I back up. I get it up about 3/4 of the ramp, and the engine gives out on me. The power dies on it, and no matter what I do, I'm trying to brake. Now, to brake, all you have to do is pretty much let go, and the thing slaps up, and it kicks the brakes into action. It wasn't stopping. I went all the way about 20 feet across the floor, right into a wall with shelving. I didn't hurt anybody, didn't damage anything, but I got squished a little bit between the load and the wall. Has that left some lasting effects? I don't know. But I'll always remember that day, because I remember thinking, oh my God, I didn't die. This is okay. All right, I'm alive. That was rough. I'm serious. This is one of the scariest moments of my life. Another scariest moment of my life is I went with Jimmy Bassett and Peter Burnt. Peter Burnt, who came down to visit me. He should have done an episode while he was here. I'm going to contact him. We're going to set something up. We went up to Mount Chikuro on the Kangamangas Highway somewhere in the White Mountains, right near between North Conway and North Woodstock. So right around that area, somewhere in between, there's falls. I can't remember what they're called. It's not Crabtree Falls. I can't remember what the falls are called, but you can go halfway up, which is easy. No, probably a third of the way up. Very easy walk, little bit of a hike. Then at that point, it turns into a real full-blooded hike. Well, there's these almost like hills that lead up to these gaps. Now, these gaps are like 30-foot drops. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're standing on the edge of a 30-foot gap with like 4 feet between you and another like hilltop, and you jump across it, there's an excitement and a thrill that just fills your body. Now, mind you, I'm I'm almost 40 now, so I probably wouldn't do that ever again. But at the moment, it was just invigorating and enthralling and amazing, and it's just a wonderful moment in my life. I remember actually literally just standing in the waterfall there. It was early spring. There was still snow up on the mountaintops. I went up on shorts. I didn't really think that one out. And I stood under the waterfall, me and Jimmy Bassett, and it was just awesome. Jeff Godick was there too, but I don't think he went with us. Maybe he did. No, he did. I have pictures of it. I'll have to post them. If I can find them, I'll post them on here. If not, then you'll never see him unless he come visit me and ask me specifically, hey, can I see that picture of you, Jeff? And well, actually it's Jeff and Jeff, but it's Goat and Jimmy Bassett. Okay, let's moving right along here. Chin playground. We did the chin playground. No, I didn't do the chin playground. This one's kind of boring. This will be a quick one. I think it was 3rd grade. I was running around at not Kohannet, H.H. Galligan, which doesn't exist anymore in Taunton, Massachusetts. I was running real fast at my friend Chris, not the Korean cowboy Chris, Chris Moniz. No, Chris something. I can't remember his name. And I slipped forward and I hit my chin. I wanted to put my face out like that so that I didn't come face down. And I just didn't have time to get my hands out. And I split it in 2 areas on my chin. Now, if I shaved, which I won't because I have a freaking, what do you call this? Waddle. That's about the only plastic surgery I would ever consider would be to get rid of this waddle. And I have a few skin tags, which I'm not really happy with. I guess you can do it yourself, but I'm scared and nervous because I don't like pain. Anywho, I hit my chin, and I had to get stitches for that one. And my mother was telling me the whole time, you probably won't have to get stitches. They'll just give you a butterfly clamp. Well, they said they don't do that anymore. So, that son of a bitch, I had to get stitches. And so my mother lied to me. And so I had to get needles, which obviously when you're a little kid and there's needles in your chin, that sucks. Then they stitched it up, and I felt a lot of the stitching, unfortunately. And that's the only time up to that point, knock on wood, that I ever had to have stitches. I had to have like 2 or 3 stitches on a molar I had to have removed. But besides that, that's it. That's the only time I really had to go to the hospital, and the time I broke this bone right here. I hit a wall like a jerk. Okay, parachute pants. This had to have been 88, 89. I was still in Michael Jackson because I was wearing the black and red like parachute pants, like not the he ever wore parachute pants, but right around that time it was like Sky Jordans before the Air Jordans hit. That's going back a ways. When I was running across the auditorium, I'm doing this down here by the way, the auditorium floor, and I slid on my knees. Well, these nylon pants, when heated up via friction, melt. And it burnt my knees. I don't have any scars to prove this one, but it was one of the craziest things. I remember having to pull plastic out between the skin and stuff. It was gross. Isn't that sexy? Don't you want to go eat like some kind of a soup or something right now? A thick soup? Parachute pants. Cemetery stab. I was having a stick fight. I was way too old to be having a stick fight too. I was at least 17, 18 probably, maybe even 19. No, probably about, yeah, I was still in high school, 16, 17. Me and my friend Dave Melanson, who I'd love to hang out with him now, man. I think we'd have a really good time. He used to like to draw and collect comics. We used to collect comics together, go to comic shows together. Almost got arrested once together. That's a story for another day. We're at the cemetery near my house. I can't remember the name of it. It's if you look at 85 Winthrop Street in Taunton, Massachusetts, green, like a light green house, turn right and take your first right. I think it's Walnut. And then the road splits, take a right, and there's a cemetery on the right there. Barnum something or whatever. That cemetery, it's one of the coolest and most interesting looking. It's all hillock and like there's a valley, a big like almost like a gladiator ring in the middle of it, where there's people buried in the walls there, but people have smashed into them, so you can literally go into people's graves there. It's fucking creepy. It's weird. Well, we were hanging out. We actually found a burnt to death dog that day with the lighter fluid next to it. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. And I remember that. I just remember that moment just being like, what the fuck? Well, anywho, before that, we were running around like adventurers, and we picked up swords. We were having a sword fight. And somehow one of the sticks snapped, and it hit me in the stomach. I'm definitely not showing you that, but it's like right around, I don't know, here somewhere. There's a little scar where the stick stabbed into me. And I mean, like, dude, you just stabbed me. And then we went back to my house and probably played like Super Nintendo or Nintendo or something. Those were the days. I remember hanging out with him and his whole family. The Melansons are just the best people in the world. Bob, Jen, Tanya, and Dave. I believe that's the order. Dave might be older. I can't remember. Anywho, I've hung out with all of them independently and as a group. Like, and it's just so cool that like I was able to become friends with such wonderful people, and their parents are just great people. Both sides of the family. But yeah, thanks for stabbing me, Dave, you son of a bitch. If you want to come down to Virginia, just let me know. Until I can get the fuck out of here. French fries fingertips. Now this is this is not too long ago. Shows you I'm impatient sometimes. I had a bag of potato wedges. I used to love getting these off the Roach Coach. If you've ever eaten off of a Roach Coach, the food's pretty damn good. I really like it a lot. Barbecue and fries and just wonderful people to work with too, or at least the guy I had to deal with. Anywho, I was trying to cut it with scissors, dull scissors, or I thought they were dull scissors. So I'm trying to hack at the bag. I'm going, son of a bitch, just cut. And like Grayson's probably asking for something. The dog just shit on the floor. You know, Poe's gonna go outside. I'm just like, oh my god, just cut. Boom, I cut. And I cut like, not the whole tip of the finger off, but like 90% of like the very tip of it. Like, and I saw the flap and I saw the blood starting to form. I slapped the flap down because I knew it wasn't disconnected. I wrapped it in paper towels, and there was happened to be tape nearby. Excuse me. And I wrapped it up real tight, and that was the end of it. I didn't look at it for like another 2 or 3 days until the Band-Aid started coming off in the shower one day. I'm like, all right, I gotta take a look. And it was just starting to heal in the center, so I could have ripped it open again if I hadn't put another Band-Aid on it. But just, you know that feeling when you first, like, the first few days when you've taken damage to a fingertip and, like, you're touching it to things, you're like, that's weird. I can feel it, but I can't feel it. Well, it's still like that to this day. It still feels a little weird, but I can still rip one. No, I didn't mean it like that. No, I can't rip a solo, actually, either. I'm terrible. I'm a blues man. I can do the blues, but that's my speed. Like some slow blues stuff. French fries, fingertips. Earring dog rip. I had this dog staying with me once, years ago. Toto was its name. I can't remember whose dog it was. I was sleeping one night. This is a short story. It jumped up and landed right on my earring and tore out. You probably can't see it, but the bottom of this ear underneath, like where the current puncture is just a line. And it ripped it like almost out. Like there was like a thread of hair there, and I remember being like so sick to my stomach that night. And so I took my earring out. I'd let them heal, and then I had to get them pierced again. My friend Sarah pierced them, and this ear, the earring got stuck with the gun, and she couldn't get it out. I never got gauges in my ears. The only gauge I have right now is my nipple, which is really small. I mean, it's not super small. It's probably 14 or 12. And then I had my labret pierced for 10 years or so. And that was probably about a 12. I fucked my gums up, though. Cemetery, French fries, ear dog. Okay, so the last one, no, that's it. That's all my stories of scars. I have more scars than that, but they're all boring. If you don't have scars on your knees, I feel bad for your childhood. I really do. I mean, scars on your knees is a rite of passage. Dropping off your bike, trying to do stunts and shit. If you didn't do that, I mean, I don't think you were a kid. Boy, girl, this isn't a sexist thing. I'm just saying, if you never fell off your bike and skinned your knees, then well, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for you. I remember trying to ride my bike down the railroad tracks. That's fun. I told you about my railroad track days and those friends walking for hours and days in the summer. Just a beautiful experience. Anywho, I do have 3 other injuries I want to share with you. One's a little serious. My friend Aaron Lewis and Dennis Maynard went to Bridgewater, I believe it was, Bridgewater Rainham, one night to go play basketball. Just hang out and have fun. These other guys showed up. and ask if they could play. So they all started playing together. Well, something happened. Now, mind you, Dennis and Aaron, I mean, they're my friends, and I'm sure they're much better people than they were back in the day, but they were what the church would consider alcoholics and addicts. And so they got into trouble sometimes. Dennis grew up he actually was shot. He's still alive, but he got shot in D-Word Ave, which is one of the roughest part of Taunton. And Aaron, he actually had a wonderful life that he kind of just threw away. He had a great mother and father, a really nice, probably an autistic, I guess you'd call him now, brother. But they were just good people, really good people. And an older brother, or a brother that was just a little younger, Jay. He was a great kid. Anywho, they went to this court one night, started playing with these kids. The next thing I knew, the next day I was getting a call saying, dude, Aaron and Dennis are in the hospital. I'm like, what the fuck? Did they get into an accident? Because I'd been with Aaron when, like, we'd go fishing and he'd be drinking and I'd be like, at my age now, like, he probably had like 1 or 2 beers and it wasn't a big deal. But back then, like, it was sinful and evil. So I immediately gravitated away from it. Anywho, they got the fucking shit kicked out of them. I mean, eyes bruised so bad that you couldn't see. I mean, they didn't lose any teeth as far as I know, but like swollen faces, just beaten terribly. When you think about the word beaten, that's what I think about. Like, and I remember seeing pictures of the two of them in the hospital beds, like doing this or something, like just something ridiculous, and being like, oh, thank God they're alive and okay. Like, but like, that dark traveler within me just wanted to like go down there and like wait for those people to show up again and like make sure no one ever saw them again. So they're gone now. Artie, my friend Artie, I think he'd be okay with this. He's an amazing artist. I've talked about him before. Very, like, I felt like his life was very just the pits, I guess is the best way to say it. Like, he didn't have a lot going for him. Well, when he started creating art maybe 10 years ago, just about when I was leaving Massachusetts, actually it would have to be after that, but maybe 7 years ago, like really creating paintings and stuff, it changed him. Anywho, we used to play softball every Sunday. I'm sure there's an episode about Sunday softball and D&D. And if not, you know what, maybe we'll revisit that tomorrow night, because that's just one of my favorite topics. Sunday softball. A lot of my felt tip markers, it must be really dry in my house. They're just drying out. It's really sad and pisses me off at the same time too. Anywho, we were playing this one time. I can't remember which field. It was in Rainham, though. We didn't normally play there, but the field we always play at was being played on by somebody who had reserved the time. So we're like, all right, so we'll go to this one. Anywho, they had these lower fences that you could kind of put your head over and like talk to people if you were the team like batting or whatever, just waiting to come out. Well, he lifted his head up and he was looking over, and my friend Gary, being the douchebag that he is, said, "Hey, Artie," and he threw the ball. He thought he was going to hit it right on the fence, right below his face. He hit him right in the fucking eye. Like, this is a fastball. We're talking, now Gary probably couldn't throw a 100-mile fastball, but he could probably throw at least a 65, 70-mile-per-hour fastball. And Artie took it in the eye, and it was just, what he said was only forgivable at that moment because it was pretty racist. And I'm sure he didn't mean it, but what he said, I'm not even going to repeat it, but you knew he got hurt pretty bad. I think he didn't show up for D&D that night. Now, my friend Corey, I could go over a million stories of what happened to him. The first day I met him, he had big gashes in his mouth because he fell over off of his bike, and the whole inside of his mouth was all tore up. But the one I like a lot, now there's two. One of them, he was jumping on his mother's bed while they were away, and he stuck his finger in the ceiling fan and it cut up his fingertip. The other one was, there was a little crack in his window, and he was just doing this, tapping it, and it broke, and he sliced his finger up. But the funny thing about Corey is his stories are always embellished. Like, I told you probably how it really happened. But Corey would tell you it if you turned it up to 11. Like, dude, I was tapping on the window.
It was just this little crack. And I cracked it. And the fucking window shattered, and shards of it went all over the fucking universe. And one of them cut off. It tore through the top of my finger, and I could see the bone and the muscles, and blood was squirting out. None of that probably happened. It was probably bad. Now, I don't want to offend him either, because he's the best friend I've ever had. But he would exaggerate and embellish stories. And I'm sure he still does. That's my best friend. He's a good man. Anywho, I hope to see you guys all at the Road to 40, the end of the road party. I know a few of you aren't going to be able to make it, and it's really heartbreaking for me. But hey, I'll get over it. You know what I mean? I've been thinking a lot about moving. Carol and I are talking a lot more about moving. She seems to be more reluctant than I am. I am more at the point where, like, if you never try, you never know. And, like, I think life is wasted that way so many times. Like, you're like, well, I could go out to California, but I might fail and I might end up back here. That's about the worst that would happen. There's nobody, our true friends would never let us live on the street. There's no, I could mention probably 20 people right now that would be like, dude, I'm sorry what happened to you. Come stay with us until you can get on your feet again. Or even if we had to spread out. There's people out there that... Alright, now I'm going off on a tangent. Bless you. For we have 3 weeks together. And of course the future holds some wonderful things. And that week after my birthday, I'll be on here most nights. I have a few things afterwards that I'll probably want to discuss. I'm probably going to do the tribute volume 2. I'm going to let that cat out of the bag. It's going to take a lot of work, and it'll probably take a lot more time because I have a year worth of footage that I have to go through. And I'm not just talking about the Road to 40. Anywho, doesn't really matter right now. What really matters is that we're still together for 3 weeks. That's what Jesus would say. Teach a man to fish and buy him the rod. Just stop being jerks. Not you guys. The rest of the world is what I'm trying to say. I believe tonight was a wonderful episode. Probably the longest episode. If I slap these two together, this is going to be almost an hour-long episode, I bet. 45, 50 minutes. But that's okay. I've never done it before, and maybe, this is a special edition, Maybe I'll do one at 14 days too. We'll see. I'd like to get Chris and Nick or vice, just one or the other, or Jim or somebody on here, Dana, Vic, Matt, anybody. I really throughout the year really wanted to get more people on here for you guys to meet. It just didn't happen, But if I can, I will do everything in my power so you guys, so you guys can meet a few other people. I've got to throw in the towel here though, because I'm fading fast, and I'm sure Carol's just hanging out there. So. Thank you guys for always coming back. It really means the world to me. It really, really does. And I hope I can see as many of you as possible. I know there's probably people in Florida watching, California, Hawaii, wherever you guys are watching. I know it's asking a lot to be here, and I know a lot of you couldn't. But if you can, if there's anything you can find in your power to be here, I would love to see you again, because you never know what the future holds. You got to live life to the fullest, because you just never know when the last moment's going to come. Well... if you guys are loving these as much as I'm loving making them, please subscribe, like, and comment. Give me something to talk about, and pass these along to anybody who you might know who might like watching them. Share them on the Facebook, share them on the Twitter, share them out on Instagram, share them somewhere. The future's full of big things that I don't want to leave people out of, and I think we can grow this community. I really do. I think we've got something. It just takes time and money and effort, and I'm going to redo this room. It's going to be fun. Follow me on the social media. It's always at GEYCEN. Don't forget to make somebody smile tomorrow. Make yourself a better person tomorrow than you were today tomorrow. Let's make the world spin a little bit happier together. Let's sing and dance in the rain as one, my brothers and sisters. Live life to the fullest and love every moment of it, because you just never know when that last moment's going to come. But live in love, not in fear. Do not fear. Overcome your fears. Take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and take care of those around you who can't take care of themselves, because they're the ones they need it the most. I'm Jason Oliveira. This is Dr. Carl Mitchin, my co-host. He doesn't talk a lot, but, well, he's a plastic chicken. I'll see you guys a little bit further on down the road to 40. Thank you guys for coming back.